Okay, so what I'm going to share with you today is a very powerful, very simple exercise that you can use to release attachment to outcomes. This is going to be helpful if you're someone right now who is trying to create a change in your life. You want to change your relationship, you want to change your circumstances with your health or with your wealth or with family or your career or business, and you're putting a lot of time into thinking about it, planning it and visualizing it and affirming it, and things aren't really changing, and you feel like the world is sort of against you. This exercise will be very helpful in helping you get out of your head so that you're not constantly worrying about it and thinking, is this going to happen? Will this change? Why won't things start working for me? If you've followed any of my content, you know there is a huge emphasis that I place on your ability to release the subconscious resistance that your old self has in order for you to step into being the new self who has the thing that you want, right? You have to be the person that is deserving of it. You can't have something that you don't deserve. If you attain it through force and stress and pressure, as we all have done in the past, that stuff often slips through our fingers and we end up going back to who we were before, and we're stuck in the same circumstances. As well as that, if you've ever attained anything through just sheer brute force, you'll know how exhausted you feel when you do that, right? So if you attain something, you achieve, you make a certain amount of money. I know I've done this in the past when I've been working in jobs when you're forcing and hustling and grinding and you get the money and you feel dead, you feel exhausted. There's no fun in it. So it's actually the feeling that you were chasing. And if we can change this mindset, it's going to really help you. All right. So this exercise is going to allow you to release the attachment that your old self has to this outcome. What's happening if you're in your own head and you're struggling with these contradictory thoughts and you can't keep the feeling and the belief that what you're trying to create and change is going to happen? This is because this old self, the old you that has those old thoughts and those old feelings and those old behaviors that keep self-sabotaging you and just taking over you, we gotta release that. Okay, and we can do that by releasing attachment to outcomes. It's our ego that is desperately wanting the thing. That's not what we use in reality creation. If we're trying to use our own true conscious power, we can't do this through force and we can't do this through the ego. We have to do this through our powerful nature, right? And we have to just believe in it. And the ego, when you ask that question, say, or make that statement, we need to believe in it. The first thing the ego does is, yeah, but how do I do that? How do I do that now? How can I do it now? Right? Get to the point, like, how do I do it? It's just, that's classic ego. That's not us. That's not our true essence. So this exercise, you're going to need ideally a pad of paper and a pen. But you can do this. I know loads of these exercises you've probably seen before, but give this one a go if you're serious about getting out of your head and having this thing you're trying to create not work in your favor. Okay, this is one of the techniques that I take my clients through in step 2 of the Heroic Coaching Program, and it can be a good way to start building some momentum and feel some relief as you're moving towards creating and stepping into your dream life. So what you want to do is you want to write down, to begin with, number 1, your intention in present tense form. So whether it is, I am healthy, I am with my dream partner, I'm making this amount of money per month, my business is growing, whatever it is, ideally in an I am statement is super helpful because it starts to bring up the resistance in you when you say, I am wealthy, I am healthy. If you do it from that format, it's going to help show some of this resistance and attachment that is keeping you feel like you're going crazy. And I know, because I've been that person that's also felt like they're going crazy. So write down your intention and just have it on a piece of paper. And what I want you to do is to state this intention out loud. Okay, so just find somewhere comfortable to do this and just state, I am whatever it is. I am healthy. I am with my dream partner. And if you're in your own head about how to write this down and what you should write down, that's a problem, right? That needs resolving too. Nothing can manifest and you can't move into this life if you can't decide what you want. So that's also an issue too that needs to be solved. But for this particular thing, right, get clear on it and write it down. And now you're going to find somewhere quiet and you're going to say your intention out loud. So pause this video and say your intention out loud. Okay, now, hopefully you press play back on this video. Notice what comes up when you say your intention out loud. Listen to the thoughts that come up straight away. Feel the feeling, the sort of sensation you have in your body. So you can pause this video and state this intention out loud as many times as you like. But the point is, you simply say your intention. So for example, I am healthy. And there might be a thought that comes up straight away, which is something like, no, you're not. Okay, or a sort of tugging and pulling feeling you might feel in your gut, in your chest, in your throat, even in your forehead might sort of tense up. And this is that resistance. This is the old self that's been built up over the years, your identity, which is saying, whoa, that is not us, okay? That's not who we are. So can you see how if this is the old you, you can't create or step into the new you. You can't embody it. So the next step, we're going to cycle between these two statements, okay? So you've got your I am statement, number one, and you've said it out loud a few times just to get a sort of vibe of what feedback am I getting here? How much do I believe this is actually going to work? The next step with this is you want to then, and you can write this down too, you want to write down, I might not be able to, and then write your intention that would finish that sentence. So, for example, if my intention was, I am healthy, you would write down, I might not be able to be healthy. Okay? Go with that. If you want to pause this video and take your time with it, sure thing. And then I want you, before you do this though, just hear me out, to say that statement out loud, and then notice the resistance that you feel, which is egotistical resistance, which we all have when we're doing this work. Feel the desperation to that statement to not be true, okay? But just be with it. Be with that emotion that comes up. Be with that frustration, right? The tugging, the pulling that wants this to not be true. When you say, I might not be able to, your intention. I might not be able to make X amount per month. I might not be able to be with this person. And what you want to do is, as you say that, you want to sit with it and you want to just let whatever comes up in your body come up. Whether it's an emotion, whether it's like a resistance, a tugging in your body, whether it's thoughts that start to blurt out as well, which is, no, this has to work. I have to be with this person. And just let it simmer, let it breathe with that energy that comes up. If you feel, like I said, the tightness, just be with that feeling. Let it release. You're not trying to change it. You're not trying to move it around. You're just trying to be with it. Because we need to release and dissolve some of this attachment to the outcome. Because if we're talking in terms of the old school dating way, right, of being too needy, we've all had a person that's been too needy in our lives, or we've been that person. I know I have, definitely when I was younger. When there's too much attachment, there's too much wanting this outcome to happen. I've got some construction workers which are doing a really good job at the moment, trying to jump in whenever I'm doing a video, which is really handy. But I'm going to release my attachment to this outcome, okay? So this is it. And then what you can do is you can add on to that sentence, I might not be able to, your intention, I might not be able to make this amount of money. And you can add on the end, but that's okay. I am still safe, okay? And you want to almost embody the feeling that your outcome hasn't happened and that you're still okay, you're still safe. Because all that attachment is it's worry about this not happening and that you're not going to be safe if it doesn't happen, right? If you're not with this person, you're not going to be safe. You're not going to be whole. If you don't make this money, you're not going to be safe. That's not true. You will still be safe. You've got up until this point in your life with all this stress and all these issues going on, as we all have, and you're still watching this video and you're still here, okay? So you want to make yourself feel safe that if that does happen, you're going to be okay. And this sounds counterintuitive, but if you do this, you're going to feel a sense of relief and a sense of sort of weight off your shoulders, and your head will sort of lose this fog and this cloud of thoughts. And then what you can do is you can cycle between the two. So you can cycle between that statement of I am healthy and you can cycle between then, I might not be able to be healthy. Okay, and just sit with both of them. You want to sit with both until you feel like both of them are sort of neutral. There's a neutrality around the I am statement being true, and there's a neutrality around it not happening. And then you can gradually move away from using that I might not be able to just stating your intention. And then you can start to build belief with it. Then you can tune into it because you've dissolved a lot of the attachment around it. So it's a really useful exercise. I love using this one with my clients. If this was helpful, please let me know in the comments. This will help you release attachment to outcomes. Summary, remember, write down your intention as an I am statement ideally. Say it out loud, notice what resistance comes up, feel it, process it, don't try and change it, just be with it. The second part, then write a statement which is I might not be able to, which is related to your intention. I might not be able to be healthy. And just feel that tightness and resistance and attachment to it and let it come up and let it process. And then you can add on to the end of that statement, I might not be able to be healthy, but that's okay. I'm still safe. And say that statement out loud and just be with it. Be okay with it not happening. This will release the attachment. You can then go back to the I am statement and grow that statement and tune into it and build a feeling around it. Okay, so as I said, just a quick summary of what that was. This was how to release attachment to outcomes so you can start feeling already like you're transforming your life in the moment and not have this huge head game going on and your life feeling like it's getting worse and not getting better. Hope that was helpful.